The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, so we're going to start this in about 1 minute, but I see folks joining us. So hi, Barbara and Dave and Doug, Jennifer, John, Robert. How's everyone doing tonight? I guess everyone's muted. I guess if you could, in the question box, if you can find the question box, go ahead and say hello or tell us what district you're from. I want to make sure everybody can hear us okay. Okay, checking in again. Can everybody hear us okay? If you could, folks, if you could reach out and type a question in the question box, maybe instead of a question, just tell us what part of the state you're from. Oh, there we go. Sarasota 6960. That's Robert. Jennifer's calling in from Key Largo, and John is Singer Island. Fantastic. Who else? Dade City. Barbara 6950. I was down there back in October visiting with Mike Chapman. Fantastic. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. It's about 5:30, and just be respectful of everyone's time. We'll go ahead and get this webinar started. But I want to welcome you all to this webinar. I'm really excited because this means that all of you guys are president-elects, and you're going to be leading your clubs next year, and you're going to be at PETS in a couple of weeks. And I think that's one of the main reasons why we wanted to do this hashtag is we're always trying to figure out ways that we can expand the social reach and the public image of Rotary. And so this year at PETS, President-elect Training Seminar in Orlando, we're going to have a social wall and a designated hashtag for the event that we want folks to use on their social media. And then we got to talking about it, and we thought, well, we need to make sure that everyone knows how to use hashtags. And so I talked to George Robertson Burnett and told him I would put together this webinar and kind of help folks out. This is going to be a very basic webinar tonight on hashtags and just kind of what are they and how do I use them and why should I use them. And joining me on the call, let me get to my PowerPoint here. I have Susan. Susan, say hello.
Hey, everybody.
Hey. So this is your Zone 34 Public Image Coordinator team. So we're a team of Rotarians that represent Georgia, Florida, and much of the Caribbean. And it's our job to help Rotarians, districts, clubs, Rotarians with public image and make sure that any needs that you might have regarding public image or any questions or if you need any assistance, we're here to help you. So Sheila, myself, and Susan, we cover the state of Florida. And so here's the state, and this is the various districts here in Florida. And so I cover a lot of the top of the state, 6940, 6970, 6950, 6980. I'm based out of Jacksonville, Florida. I'm up here in 6970. And then Susan, she's kind of the middle part of the state. So she's got 6890, 6960, and then 6930. And then Sheila takes care of 6990, but she takes care of the entire Caribbean. So she's got a pretty big wide swath of Rotary districts that she has to take care of across the Caribbean. I'm going to jump right over and I'll let Susan talk a little bit about herself and introduce herself to you all.
Hey guys, so my name's Susan Corder. I'm with the Rotary Club of Lakewood Ranch, and I've actually past president of 2 different clubs, so I'm really excited that all of you guys are looking forward to PETS this year. I'm part of District 6960. You can see my family up here on the screen. That's my husband, Adam, and I have 2 little rugrats that keep me busy when I'm not doing Rotary things or working. My profession is business development. I have a background in marketing and graphic design as well. And I handle that for our district and some for the zone as well. I have been a Rotarian since 2004. Like I said, I've been a member of 2 different clubs. I love Rotary. My parents were in Rotary. It will always be a part of my life. And my kids are even starting to participate in activities too, so it's really exciting. I'm a Florida Gator since birth. 3rd generation, as Marshall learned today. Go Gators.
Go Gators.
And those are some hashtags to
go with my family. A couple of hashtags that Susan uses for her family. And then me, I'm Marshall Butler. I'm the immediate past district governor for Rotary 6970. That's my beautiful family there. Maggie on the left, Emily on the far right, and then my wife Karen, married for 20 years. I've got 25 years of experience in marketing and technology. I'm the vice president of Interchanges. It's a marketing agency here in Jacksonville, Florida. I first joined Rotary 30 years ago. So I first joined Rotary as an interactor back in high school. So I've been a part of the family Rotary for 30 years now. And I definitely married way up, and I am definitely a hashtag proud dad. So proud to be a part of the family of Rotary, and proud to introduce my family to Rotary and teaching them service above self and how to have a heart for service. That's enough about us. Let's get on to the hashtags. Tonight, what you're going to be learning is you're going to learn how to increase your reach using hashtags. We're going to teach you how to gain followers, hashtag new members. So how can you use Rotary hashtags to reach out to people that may not know anything about Rotary, or may not know what a Rotary Club is or what Rotary does. A lot of folks, they've heard of Rotary, but they're not quite sure what Rotary is all about. We're going to talk about how we can expand our reach and gain those new followers and new members. We're going to find out how we may be able to find and partner influencers, or even more importantly, sponsors. Partnerships are very important. I remember last year, President John Germ said that it was crucially important that Rotary find partnerships to expand the good that we do. One of the most famous partnerships that we have is the Bill and Melinda Gates partnership. So partnering through using hashtags to expand our reach is very important. And then finally, some do's and don'ts and tips about what makes a good hashtag and how to create a hashtag that will work well for your club, your district, your service project, your fundraiser, just how to use a hashtag and get noticed on social media. I want to keep tonight's discussion interactive. So as you have questions, please pop them down into the question box. We'll try to get to those and answer them throughout the talk. If something sticks out and you need clarification, please let us know. We're also recording this session, and so we're going to publish this. We'll send out a link to the recording and also publish it on YouTube so that you can share it with others later on. But first off, pretty funny, I'm so old, I remember when a hashtag was called a pound sign, and we played tic-tac-toe on it. So hashtags are something that really have gained notoriety or significance in about the last 10 years. And there's a lot of questions or uncertainty around hashtags. And so tonight we're definitely going to take care of answering those questions and let you know why the pound sign and tic-tac-toe sign is now important. But it all goes back, I guess, initially to social media. And when you think about social media and the impact that social media has on our lives today, it's pretty significant. People spend a lot of time connecting with people, consuming content, reading articles, looking at pictures, updates, stuff like that on social media. It's amazing to think, you know, this is January of 2017, so these statistics are over a year old, but over 2.8 billion social media users worldwide. And I mean, again, these statistics are pretty old and probably a lot higher than that now, but 37% of everyone on Earth has some sort of social media exposure or uses social media in some way or fashion. And that's a 22% increase over last year. So if you think we're trending linearly, 22% increase, that put us up close to 50% of the globe now has some sort of penetration with social media. But in terms of the number of Americans that have social media exposure. It's about 69%. And again, this is from last year, so that number continues to grow. So social media is a big part of our everyday life. And anything that we can do to power the leverage of social media to tell the story of Rotary, it's pretty doggone important that we do that. So what do people use social media for? Well, they use it to keep in touch, whether it's keeping in touch with the kids and grandkids, even the great-grandkids. We like to say that we keep up with old college roommates, best friends from old neighborhoods, and sometimes even the one that got away. But you do need to be careful because that could involve a restraining order sometimes. So careful what you do with the one that got away on social media. But, you know, social media networks, they essentially allow us to become a tighter community globally, to kind of shrink the distance between folks, you know, whether it's friends, family. Social media lets us share pictures and have conversations with people we thought we'd never see again, or even people that we don't even know personally a lot of times. Susan, tell me about the person that you just connected with on Facebook.
Yeah, so I've really been opening up my network a lot on Facebook within the Rotary world, and I connected with a crop farmer from India today, and he was a past district governor and president of his club, and it's just really cool to learn what, you know, now I hope to learn what he's been doing in his club in his area and be able to share some of the things that we're doing here and maybe even possibly partner on a project down the road.
Yeah, so again, it's incredible to think what social media does and what it can do for Rotary in terms of shrinking distances between folks, collaborating, sharing. You know, in Rotary, it's all about, you know, copying and pasting. You know, if you see a club that's doing something really fantastic, you know, you want to do it yourself. You know, they've already kind of created the roadmap. So whatever we can do to share best cases or success stories or best practices, we really, you know, it's a great opportunity. But more than that, you know, Rotary is all about fellowship. It's all about the family of Rotary and being able to share stories and successes and inspirational stories with people who share values that we have, values of service above self, and share the four-way test and, you know, kind of think the same way that we do. That's, you know, a lot of times people look at social media negatively because there's some negative aspects perhaps to social media. But I think for Rotarians, it's just amazingly inspirational when we see projects that are taking place, whether it's in our own backyard here in Florida or halfway around the world in India or Pakistan or China or, you know, somewhere else around the world. Social media can be very powerful for us in the family of Rotary. So there's a whole bunch of different social media channels that we could talk about. I think pretty much a new one pops up every day. But for today, we're going to focus on just a couple of social media channels, the ones that really do make use, a lot of really good use of the hashtag. The first one being Instagram. So Instagram is it's now a part of Facebook. It's probably one of the fastest growing social media channels. It's got 600 million monthly users. One of the key statistics that we really are interested in as Rotarians is that it skews towards women. And so as we continue to open up our clubs and, you know, we celebrate 30 years of women in Rotary and really want to diversify our membership, leveraging a channel like Instagram that really has a huge following among women is pretty important. And so anything that we can do to use this channel to expand our public image among Instagram users is really important. Another great statistic, 90% of Instagram users are under 35. Another key demographic that, you know, we really want to expose to Rotary and tell the Rotary story is the younger generation, and showing them that they can be a part of something like Rotary International and how beneficial it will be to them personally to be a part of this great organization. And then, you know, 53% of Instagram users follow brands. And Rotary's got a pretty strong brand. You know, people, again, like I said, people recognize the wheel, and they know that Rotary stands for something really good. And so it's a great demographic for us to really pursue Instagram. Susan, any other thoughts on Instagram?
Well, just, you know, it's interesting that you and I were talking earlier about how so many people are familiar with Facebook, but look at some of these statistics with Instagram. If you're not using Instagram, you're missing out on a huge portion of people by just limiting yourself to one avenue that you could be bringing on board, especially with the younger generation.
Yeah, and I know for a lot of people it comes down to time, and sometimes they say, well, it's hard enough to keep up with one channel. It's kind of hard to think about maintaining a couple of channels. And later on in the talk, we'll kind of give you some tips and tricks on how you can kind of consolidate and simplify your process for maybe putting out some content on Facebook and Instagram at the same time, maybe even Twitter. And that's our next social media snapshot that we're going to look at. Twitter. If you're watching something in real time, Twitter is an amazing channel. I remember watching the Super Bowl this past weekend, and I remember Pink was about to sing the national anthem, and they cut to her on national television. It looked like she spit out her gum. Then I found out she'd had the flu, and it was probably a cough drop. But I went to Twitter, and immediately people are, it's trending. Pink spits out gum before singing national anthem. So it's really amazing how if there's anything going on, there's people around the world having a conversation on it on Twitter. This one, it is predominantly male. There's a lot of males on Twitter. A lot of ladies are on it too, but it really does trend younger as well. So this is the millennials, the Rotaractors, again, a very young market here using Twitter. And a lot of people on Twitter, they don't post any content. They're there just kind of doing what I did on Super Bowl, watching the folks talk about the Super Bowl as it happens. And so they're just there to consume content and see what's going on. And they spend 2.7 minutes on the mobile app per day. So not a whole lot of time, but if you want real-time instant notifications or updates on anything happening, it's on Twitter. Susan, do you use Twitter very much?
I use it some, yeah, and what you mentioned, the notifications, that's really what gets me. I like the notifications that come up on my phone, and I can glance at it, and if it's something interesting, I can click on it. If not, I'll keep going.
Yeah, the restaurant, there's a little cafe right next door to my office here in downtown Jacksonville, and every morning they tweet out the day's specials. And so I make sure that I have a notification to let me know what the daily special is at Olio. And so there's some really strategic ways that you can use Twitter. People can subscribe to your notifications for a while. I was just out of morbid curiosity subscribing to Donald Trump's tweets first thing in the morning to see what we were going to talk about during the day. And, it was interesting, but man, he was tweeting a lot right at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I just couldn't keep up. So I had to put him on mute, but I still, it's interesting to see what we're going to talk about that day. And he has used this channel effectively to get his message out.
You kept the coffee though, right?
What's that?
You kept the coffee updates, right?
That's right. That's right. So where did all this started? Where did it all start? Where did the use of hashtags begin? Well, this guy, Chris Messina, back in 2007, August 23rd, he was a Google engineer, and he is a big proponent of open source. And he sends out this tweet, and he asks the general public, how do you feel about using the pound sign for groups, as in hashtag Barcamp? And, this kind of goes back to the old school days of internet relay chat, when folks that, the very beginning of the internet would use pound signs or hashtags to aggregate content around specific topics or subjects. And so, he came up with this idea that maybe we should use that on the social media channels. So it's not necessarily a fire hose every time you turn on Twitter, or Instagram hadn't been created at the time, but Facebook. And he made this suggestion, and it was just flat out rejected by Twitter. They just said, these things are for nerds. They're never going to catch on. Well, 2 months after Chris Messina sends out this tweet, there was the San Diego forest fires that ripped through Southern California. And I guess you could say hashtags took off like wildfire because people started using a hashtag to stay up to date on what was going on with the wildfires in San Diego. And so that was September, October of 2007. And ever since then, they've continued to grow in popularity. Twitter finally adopted them. Of course, Instagram from the very beginning was using the hashtag symbol. Facebook still has kind of mixed adoption of the hashtag. And that's primarily because of a lot of the privacy settings within Facebook. A lot of folks, you can't see their content unless you're a friend of them. But with Twitter and Instagram, those are pretty wide open social channels. And so you can pretty much see everything that someone puts up. And so hashtags have really been a great way for folks to aggregate, whether it's topics or current events or projects, anything like that. So that's essentially where the hashtag started. So Rotary is using hashtags. Rotary International, one of the most popular ones that we use is hashtag #InPolio. And so, of course, we're doing so much work around the world. We use the hashtag #InPolio hashtag a lot. But some of the other hashtags that we use are hashtags like Rotary Story and World Polio Day and People of Action, #InPolio. We Are Rotary, Rotary Story. And then, the themes this year, President-elect Barry, is Be the Inspiration, Service Above Self, and then Service Above Selfie, where people, take pictures of themselves doing something at a Rotary project. Other Rotary hashtags that we've used is RICON 18. They're going to be using that one this year at the Toronto International Convention. Last year we had RICON 17 for Atlanta. And then, the thing that kind of the genesis of this webinar was the need to make sure that everyone was going to use the hashtag 2018 Florida Pets. So when everyone shows up to Orlando the first weekend in March, anything that you post to Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, we want to make sure that you put that hashtag on there, hashtag 2018 Florida Pets. And what this allows people to do is, with a lot of these social channels, like I mentioned Facebook, you don't get to see a lot of content for other folks if you don't know them or if you're not friends with them, because it is, there's a lot of privacy controls in place. But things like hashtags are going to let Rotary expand that reach because they are so wide open and they are so free in terms of being able to access what people post. So if you post something on Twitter or Instagram and you use 2018 Florida Pets, for example, in your message, people can click on that hashtag and they can then see all the other events, all the other activities that are happening at Florida Pets in 2018. And they can see that we're going to have incredible public speakers and inspirational talks and learning leadership training and finding out about the great projects that we do, like water projects and polio and literacy. So by adding one of these hashtags to one of your social media posts on one of these channels, allows people to click through that post, and then it opens up the entire world. Let me see. Let me try to escape out of this, and I am going to go over here. Can you see my screen, Susan?
Yep.
Okay, yep. So here's one on Instagram, Service Above Selfie. So if someone were to, this person posted, life in Rotary is hashtag Rotary is never dull, hashtag Rotary awareness, service above selfie. And this was, this person posted this. But see, if I click on this service above selfie, it shows me all these other people that have used that same hashtag. And I can see all the cool, look at all the fun. I mean, this is a different perception. People think of Rotarians as pale, stale, and male. And if you look at these pictures, this is anything but. But this opens up the world of Rotary to people, and they see the diversity and how much fun and the fellowship that we have while doing good in the world, making a difference in people's lives. So that was just by clicking right through that service above selfie hashtag. It returned 481 posts to me of people using that hashtag. Here's one right here. We're going to do just hashtag Rotary. Maybe just put hashtag Rotary on a tweet. Well, you click through on that, and you see clean water here in Ghana. You see a night of poetry somewhere around the world. What is Rotary? What do you do? Well, I'm glad you asked. So using a hashtag allows people to click through and find more information about hashtag Rotary or about hashtag #InPolio. So it really does give us that opportunity to expand the exposure of Rotary to people just through a simple post. Just by simply adding that hashtag to one of these posts opens up this enormous amount of content. All right, let me see if I can get back to my slide deck here. Play from current slide. All right, so here we are back on the slide deck, and I am, oops, got out of presenter view, Susan, it messed me up. Presenter view, and there we go. All right, back to the slides.
Not yet.
Not yet. Let's see. How's that?
It's just a black screen right now.
Okay, might be, let me stop it and I'll start it back up.
There you go. You're
okay,
good.
Cool. All right. So we talked about some of the Rotary hashtags that we might use, but you know, instead of just using primarily Rotary hashtags, we can also open it up and use other hashtags like hashtag fundraising or social good or volunteer, hashtag community. We also, you know, some clubs have used hashtags like hashtag I'm in the Rotary Club of West Jacksonville. So, you know, we might want to do hashtag RC West Jacks so we can see all the things that we're doing in West Jacks Rotary. A lot of districts have taken on the practice of using hashtag Rotary in their district number so that you can go back and see all the things that are happening in Rotary 6970. So, you know, you got to be careful when using and picking hashtags. You can pick a hashtag that's way too broad and you can kind of get lost in all the noise. And then you can kind of pick a hashtag that might be too specific and you're kind of the only person in the room. You're the only person that knows that that hashtag exists. And then you can kind of find that sweet spot, a hashtag that isn't super broad, maybe has the, you know, just the right amount of people following it so that when you use that hashtag, you really will be noticed in those channels. Another good idea in terms of types of hashtags to use is focusing on the areas of focus. You know, we have 6 areas of focus with the Rotary Foundation, and pretty much everything that we do as Rotarians, every project that we do fits under that one of those areas of focus, whether it's peace, promoting peace, disease prevention, clean water, fighting disease. And so there's a lot of people out there that they don't know what Rotary is, but they may have a real passion regarding education or saving children or hygiene. And they may run across one of your posts because you did a social media post on a clean water project that you did somewhere, whether it's here in the US or in Central America or in Africa. And they might click through, be looking at, you know, a search on Twitter of clean water. And there is the Rotary Club of Lakewood Ranch showing up for a clean water project that they did in Central America. And then they might say, well, wow, I didn't know Rotary did that. What else does Rotary do? So, like I said, by using hashtags, it allows us the opportunity to expand our reach to people that may have interest in things that we do as Rotarians, but may not know anything about Rotary. And that can be just simply achieved by using one of these hashtags. Susan, what are your thoughts?
To add on to that, it, you know, just reiterate, it's a lot of the younger generations that we're trying to recruit into our clubs, the individuals that we're trying to grab onto and bring into Rotary and teach about Rotary. It's that generation that's looking at these hashtags and trying to learn about Rotary. So this is a really good tool to utilize to recruit those demographics into your clubs.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that's a very good point. We know that this younger generation, they really do have a passion for doing good in the world and, you know, being a part of something like a Rotary project. We also know that, you know, they're just not really super interested in being a part of anything organized or attending, you know, a lunch every Wednesday at noon. You know, so the traditions of Rotary isn't something that, you know, they naturally would gravitate towards. But if they find out that by being a part of the family of Rotary or Rotary Club, they can be a part of a program that promotes peace or provides clean water or hygiene, it's these sorts of hooks that we can put out to reach this younger generation, because, again, it's a lot of the perception of what is Rotary that may cause them to never even consider being a part of a Rotary Club. But when they find out that what Rotary does tightly aligns with what is important and what they're passionate about, making a difference in the world, it's things like hashtags, believe it or not, that are going to expose this generation to the good that Rotary does around the world. Now, we do have a few pro tips to use when using hashtags. Again, I did say, always be sure to avoid using words that are too broad because you might get lost in the noise. You should also be careful and not to string too many words together with a simple hashtag. I don't know if any folks have ever seen this, but someone puts together about 15 words together with one hashtag. Not a good idea. Try to keep it to maybe 1, 2, 3 words at the most, but don't try to create a sentence and turn it into a hashtag because it doesn't work. And again, this is an example of where you might be the only person on earth using that hashtag and no one else is ever going to think to click through because there's just nothing there for them. So be sure to maybe use 1, 2, 3 words at the max when putting together a hashtag. Another one is always, always, always include a hashtag on any social media post that you put out on a public account so that anyone that does a search on that hashtag is going to be able to find that tweet or post. So if you have a person in your club that's going to be responsible for social media and they're putting out posts every week of your meetings or club projects, got a club project this weekend, or we got a fundraiser, make sure that they put a hashtag on that post, at least one, maybe 2 or 3. Later on, we're going to talk about spamming with hashtags, but maybe put Rotary Club of West Jacksonville or your district, or something about service above self, or and also be sure to put something that relates to what you're doing. So clean water or literacy. And also another really good one to think about doing is using regional hashtags. Here in Jacksonville, we have one. It's IGERS Jax, Igers Jax, and people that use Instagram in Jacksonville put that on their hashtags or on their Instagram posts. And so people like to go look at Igers Jax because you get to see all the Instagram posts that are happening around Jacksonville. So you may have some local, regional hashtags that are very popular. Maybe it's your county name, maybe it's your city name, maybe it's your community or neighborhood name. But aggregating it around something like a region or an area is important too, because that shows that you're right there in their backyard and they know that you're local, and it's something that they can actually maybe come and participate in or attend a meeting or a fundraiser. So always put hashtags on posts. Here it is. Don't spam with hashtags. So in a single tweet or Instagram post, you may see some folks, they'll put 20, 30. I think it's a limit of 30 hashtags on Instagram, but you'll just see a bunch of hashtags on a single post. Be careful with that. Like I said, 3, 4, 5 very meaningful, relevant hashtags related to that post. That'll get the job done. That's going to allow people to click through and find your content, and be very consistent with that. But be very careful with the number of hashtags that you use because that can come across as spammy. And the other thing is when you do that, a lot of times there are these, believe it or not, there's spam bots out there, and they just are going out there looking for specific hashtags, and they're really not meaningful connections. If people start following you because these spam bots are used to kind of boost followers and stuff like that, and so they're really not meaningful connections. you want to use hashtags that are going to result in meaningful connections with people that are interested in your content, people that live in your community or Rotarians from around the world. So be careful, because using too many hashtags can kind of get you the wrong kind of followers that really aren't going to engage with your material, your content, and it's really going to be worthless to have those followers. And then, yes, finally, use hashtags only on tweets or posts that are relevant to the topic. So, sometimes people will use hashtags to kind of jump on the latest craze. I think a couple of weeks ago, when Bitcoin was really skyrocketing in value, everybody was using the Bitcoin hashtag, just trying to catch the wave. And it doesn't make sense to use a hashtag that has no relevance to your post, just in order to try to get eyeballs, because people click through and see there's really nothing related to that hashtag in your post. It's really going to come across as meaningless, and again, not the right kind of people that you want paying attention to your content. Susan, any other tips?
I'd say, sometimes acronyms are really good to use if you need to abbreviate something, but be careful and make sure it's an acronym that is relevant, that people would recognize. And like, we have the Rotary Club of Lakewood Ranch 16th Annual Suncoast Food and Wine Fest. We can't use an acronym for that. It's way too long. So we used Suncoast Wine Fest 2018 or whatever year it is. So just, make sure that just because people in your club understand what the acronym is, that other people external of it would as well. That way you'll show up in more searches.
That's right. That's right. And just like the one that we're using for Florida Pets, of course, doing 2018 All Florida President-elect Training Seminar, that's going to be one of those ginormous hashtags that's really not going to work. So we shortened it to 2018 FL Pets. So absolutely, come up with a reasonable and something that makes sense in terms of shrinking it down to something more manageable. So that's a perfect example.
And I will say too, if you're using, you're using the 2018 FL Pets, and you're doing a very good job of branding that with everyone that's going to be attending, so that everyone is actually using it. If you come up with a really cool hashtag, but nobody knows about it, if you have 50 members in your club and you're the only one that knows that we're supposed to be using this hashtag, then it's not going to be as effective. So make sure everyone in your company understands that they should be utilizing this branded hashtag as well. And
that's something that, that I've learned early on, is when you start using a hashtag, for example, for like a district conference, make sure you start early, letting folks know what that hashtag is going to be, so that it's used appropriately and it's the right hashtag. Later on in the talk, we had a project here. It was 100 acts of good. So we had hashtag 100 acts of good. Well, we got 100 Rotary days. We got 100 every single variation. So it's very important that you do communicate what that hashtag is, so everyone's on board, everyone uses it correctly. Because again, it's if there's a typo in your hashtag, it's not going to show up. So you need to make it something very simple, easy to remember, that and everyone uses it consistently. So this was the All-Star Conference that we hosted in Atlanta this past June, right before the International Convention. This was my district's district conference, and we had what we called the Blast Crew, and they went around interviewing people, and we did a lot of Facebook Live, but we asked people to use the hashtag Rotary ASC, so Rotary All-Star Conference. And so it was funny, my daughters went from table to table teaching a lot of Rotarians how to hashtag that day, and a lot of Rotarians learned for the first time how to use a hashtag in their tweets and Instagram posts and Facebook posts. But the real reason we wanted to do this was just because we knew that we could expand the reach of our district conference, not just within the people within those walls of that hotel, but we could reach it to our friends and our friends' friends and our friends of friends by using that hashtag. And this is kind of what we want to do here with Florida Pets, is if everyone uses the same hashtag, 2018 FL Pets, we'll have this wall that we're going to put up, on the screens in the session rooms. And anyone that uses those hashtags, we can put their posts up on the screen. And so, within Florida Pets in March, anyone that uses hashtag 2018 FL Pets, if you post an Instagram photo, it's going to be up on the screen. But the great thing is it's going to be up on the screen in Orlando at President-elect training, but then all of your friends are going to see what's going on in Orlando and all of their friends. And, it kind of, again, expands that reach. And it really lets people know what we're doing as Rotarians. And this is primarily the reason why we want to use this hashtag for pets, is so that we can really aggregate this content and kind of share with the world what's going on in Orlando. So, like I said, throughout the day at the All-Star Conference, we would post these pictures and let people see what was going on. And it was really amazing. And I can tell you that I know this works because while we had about 500 people at the conference in Atlanta, we had about 3,000 to 5,000 people around the world watching this through Facebook Live. And within 24 hours of this conference, we had, I think, 4 or 5 people go to Rotary.org and say, hey, I want to join a club in Rotary 6970. And so we know that it works from a membership perspective too, because people see Rotarians having fun and making a difference in the world. And it's really, really powerful. And all this because of a simple little hashtag. Promote your fundraisers. The Rotary Club of Riverside has an annual craft beer festival, and they have a hashtag that they use to let folks know what's going on and leading up to it. So if you have any sort of fundraiser, use those hashtags to promote it. But also, you can use it to tag sponsors. If you have sponsors that are helping you put on the fundraiser, be sure to either tag them using their handle if they've got a social media account, or maybe they have a hashtag that they use corporately for their business and their branding. Use their hashtags and promote them. And the great thing about promoting brands and companies and sponsors is then they're very likely to share that content to their circle of influence, to all the people that follow their brand. And so then you just maximize your local club and district's influence, but you've leveraged a company and their influence to reach out to all the people that follow that brand. So using tags and hashtags really can, and this is, like I said, this is how you can create great sponsorships, partnerships. People see that company A is sponsoring your event, and they're going to say, hey, I don't want them to be the only one that's, participating in that event. I want to be a part of that too. People like to be a part of something successful. So be sure to find ways to hashtag sponsors and potential partners and expand your reach.
It can also be a selling point, especially to larger corporations that you're looking for to support your event. Many of them will ask you what your social media advertising is, your social media promotions, and they want to see that you're tweeting and using Instagram and how you're going to help them promote their business through the corporate sponsorship by using social media. So it can be a good selling point too when you start getting into larger corporations.
Absolutely. And, Rotary has such a great brand. There's such, people know that it's a strong organization that does great things. And, corporations want to hitch their wagon to that goodwill and say that, they support an organization like Rotary. I mean, when you think about it, when you think that about 98% of every dollar that you donate to the Rotary Foundation goes back to doing good in the world, people like to be a part of stories like that and be a part of an organization like that. So Susan's absolutely right. Corporations want to tie themselves to a brand like Rotary and expand their reach using the goodwill that we have as Rotarians. Another great one is promoting projects. And this is that project that I mentioned that we did in Rotary 6970 last year. It was part of the centennial of the foundation. It was the 100 Acts of Good. And we started it on February 23rd, which was the anniversary of the founding of Rotary in 1905. And then we went for 100 consecutive days where every single day a Rotary Club, an Interact Club, or a Rotary Club volunteered to do some sort of project in the community, tie it to one of the areas of focus, and do something. So, we know that Rotary Clubs and Rotarians are making a difference in their communities every single day, but we absolutely wanted to really make a point of every single day what we're doing to make a difference in these communities. And I'm gonna try to jump out of this and go back over here. And here's the website that we used. It was 100actsofgood.org. And we used this hashtag 100actsofgood, but we used it so that when you scroll through this, people that use that hashtag in their social posts, we used what was called an aggregator. This one's called Juicer. We were paying for a subscription while this was an active campaign, so we didn't have this branding, but we've let it lapse, and so now we have a free account, so they put their branding on it. But every time someone used the hashtag 100actsofgood, those posts all appeared on this page. And so throughout this entire campaign, people saw the things that Rotary 6970 was doing. And here's some of that branding again. These didn't appear when we were paying for it, but now we have a free account. They want to let you know who's powering this. But whether it was feeding the homeless or raising money by doing a dine around for Polio Plus or giving out scholarships, every day we did something in the community and used that hashtag of 100 acts of good. And so this was a great way to use a hashtag, again, to aggregate content so that we could display what we're doing as Rotary Clubs and as a Rotary District. And just to kind of show you as an example, we had a schedule loaded here where we posted, it's going to show us February 2018, so we got to go back about a year to show. But we had, I should have preloaded this. We posted the project that we were doing every single day, and we color coded it so that if it was an Interact project or a Rotaract project or a Rotary project, Interact was blue, Rotary was gold, and Rotaract was pink. So every day you could see what was going on in the community and tie it back to one of those hashtag 100 acts of good activities. So again, using hashtags, a great way to promote projects, whether it's a campaign like this, and this was truly a public awareness campaign about doing good in the community, or it's a specific project. In polio is a great example of using a hashtag for a specific project that we're doing as Rotarians. All right, let me see. Is the screen back up, Susan?
It's there.
Okay, cool. For some reason when I clicked back and forth for a while, it was not working. But so that's using hashtags to promote projects. Another great reason to use hashtags is you can kind of see everything that's going on in your district or in your club. Like I said, we use Rotary 6970 here locally, and so you can scroll back and see, all the things that we did this past year, everyone that used that hashtag. And it was, at the end of the year, it was very rewarding to go back and see all the different things that we did throughout our year and kind of put together a recap. It was very effective for me personally as I was putting together content for the district conference to go back and do a search on Rotary 6970, and it was kind of a little bit of a diary, a journal of all the stuff that we had done that year. And so it's a great way to archive and memorialize what you're doing as Rotarians. But again, as Susan mentioned, very important to promote your hashtag so that people use the same hashtag. At the All-Star Conference, we put these pins on all the tables. And so we told people, all right, first thing in the morning, we said, everyone put your pin on. And as you post during the day, look at your neighbor and make sure that you type the hashtag the right way. So we wanted to make sure that we consistently used Rotary ASC so that we could capture all that, and people didn't put Rotary All-Star or Rotary All-Star Conference all spelled out, but they used the same consistent hashtag over and over again. So I cannot emphasize enough, you cannot start promoting and communicating a hashtag that you want to use as a club, as a district, for a fundraiser, for a project. You can't start communicating that too early because you really need to emphasize it time and time and time again to make sure that everyone kind of gets on the bus and uses the same hashtag. You know, and there's some great tools that you can use online if you want to put together social media content. You know, sometimes you see people will put like inspirational quotes, or you know, they'll put you might have seen some of those posts where they had graphics on them and stuff like that. There's a great tool on the web. It's called Canva. It's canva.com, and it's a tool on the web that you can use, and they've got all the social media channels have different proportions or dimensions that they need for images or for graphics. And this one kind of has them already loaded in. For social media, a generic square or a Facebook post has very specific criteria. A YouTube channel has specific channel art that it goes on top. Twitter sometimes has specific ones. You can select one of these templates and then upload photos to this, and then add text and add your hashtags, and then post it to your favorite social media channel. And you know, pretty quickly you've got some pretty professional looking graphics without a whole lot of work. It's all drag and drop, and it's pretty easy, and it's free. There are paid subscriptions, but you really don't need the paid subscriptions to take full effect. Here's some examples of some graphics that we did last year, getting ready for our All-Star Conference or for our 100 Acts of Good. And it really is a great tool to really customize graphics and make them look very professional without a whole lot of work. Susan, any tools that you like to use online?
I mean, I'm glad you introduced this one because it's very user-friendly too. You don't have to be, you know, have a degree in graphic design or know how to use Photoshop to be able to manipulate this system. It's anyone listening can log on, sign up for a free account today, and start designing things to post.
Yeah, one of the cool things about this one is they've got already predefined fonts that are kind of, you know, I'm no graphic designer, and they've already kind of put these font combinations together that look good. These images, like the one here in the middle of Atlanta, or the one of the money, or the people in line at the far left. If you don't have a graphic that you want to use, the system, this tool is linked to a stock photo database, and you could type in Atlanta, and it gives you this photo. And I think I paid $1 for that photo of Atlanta, so that I could use that. And so you don't have to go digging all over the internet to find graphics. You can search for it right there. If you want to look at, you know, a picture of mountains, they've got mountains, and you can upload. One good thing is to go ahead and upload the Rotary logo and the Rotary theme, so that it's always in the system. So you can just kind of add that as a watermark to every graphic that you put up there. So yeah, it's a very, very easy tool that you can use. One other tool that I like.
To plug the.
What's
Just
that?
to plug the Rotary Brand Center, just to
yeah.
give it a little plug.
Yes.
They also have formatted images for the social media channels too. So I encourage all of you guys to go on there and check out the Brand Center, and then also get someone who's involved with your maybe social media in your club, or doing any of your maybe membership development. Get them to go on there and check out the resources on the Brand Center too. That's my plug.
No, that's, oh my gosh. You know, Sheila would slap me if she was here because I didn't mention it, but you're absolutely right. Please use the Brand Center. And the great thing is, you know, we have the People of Action campaign going right now, and they do have the templates loaded up there, so that you can upload a photo of your club doing something, and then kind of put that People of Action watermark, you know, we inspire, or we, you know, all those different theme words that we're using around the People of Action campaign is all available for your use in the Brand Center. And so, you know, log into Rotary.org and navigate to the Brand Center. And it's a very powerful tool that you can use to create those graphics and kind of tell the story of what Rotary does. You know, the People of Action campaign that we're doing right now, this is the biggest campaign that we have undertaken as Rotary since the This Close campaign started about 15 years ago. So this is a huge initiative to demonstrate that Rotarians are people of action. We don't sit around and have meals together once a week for meetings, but we're out there doing stuff and making a difference in our community. So yes, thank you for that reminder for the Brand Center. One other tool that I like to use, and I mentioned it earlier, is in terms of kind of automating or simplifying your work. There's a tool called If This Then That, ifttt.com. And what this allows you to do is I've got it set up personally so that I can upload a photo to Instagram and use a hashtag like Rotary All Stars, which was very popular last year. And what happens is when I post that to Instagram, this system, If This Then That, it has my Instagram account connected to it, but also has my Twitter and my Facebook accounts. And so it sees that post with that hashtag Rotary All Stars, and it automatically posts that picture and my caption and any hashtags that I've used. It posts all that to Twitter and all that to Facebook. So I really only have to upload to one channel, and it kind of cascades down and hits the other channels. So you hit Instagram, and then it goes automatically to Facebook and Twitter. So without a whole lot of work, you can hit a pretty large audience by only posting something one time. And so let's see if I can get out of here real quick and show you this. So this is the interface, If This Then That. And so like last year, here was one. I had one that anytime a tweet on all of the internet showed up with Rotary All Stars, I've got some Wi-Fi enabled lights in my house. All the lights in the house would blink. And that was a big hashtag that we were using in our district, and I wanted to know when people were using it. It drove my family crazy, but I thought it was pretty cool. But here's one. If any photo is hashtag Rotary All Stars, I had it upload here it is to Instagram. You can also do things like connect it to your Dropbox. So you save an archive of all your photos. So anytime you use a hashtag, you can save that photo to your personal collection in your Dropbox or a SkyDrive or a Google Drive. So you can kind of keep that folder. When I was district governor, I wanted to keep kind of a journal or memories of all the work that I did throughout the district that year. And so at the end of the year, I could go into my Dropbox and find all the photos because they were all hashtagged with the same All Stars hashtag. So If This Then That is a very powerful tool that allows you to automate a lot of tasks and not spend all your time doing social media. So highly recommend that one. And I see that we're about running out of time, but want to quickly hit a couple more things. Rotary provides us with a terrific framework in terms of public image by having a monthly theme. And all of these monthly themes can certainly be tied in to using some sort of a hashtag, whether it's May, hashtag youth service, or February, hashtag peace and conflict, or a very important one for us as Rotarians, August, hashtag membership or new club. So we have a great framework that we can use. And another great thing that you can do with this is each one of these months, think about the ways that you can post to social media and promote this theme and let other folks know what we do as Rotarians and what the theme is for that month. In May, tell them about what we do with Youth Exchange and RILA, Interact. So we have a great framework as Rotarians with these monthly themes. And then real quick before we wrap it up, and we may have a few minutes for questions, I just want to let you know, does Rotary International believe in public image? Well, President Ian has said, we haven't made enough effort in marketing ourselves to the outside world. One of the things I'm absolutely petrified of is that when polio is gone, Rotary will not get the recognition that we warrant. And I know President John last year said much the same thing. He said that if we don't use the opportunity of the eradication of polio and things like the centennial of our foundation to grow our organization and share the Rotary story and tell the great things that we do as Rotarians, then we've missed a huge opportunity to grow Rotary. And that's something that we just cannot afford to do. And that's why it's so important that we use tools like public image and hashtags and social media to tell the Rotary story and let people see what it is that we do as Rotarians to make a difference in the communities that we serve, whether it's here locally in Florida, like I said, or halfway around the world. So with that, I think we're butting up right at 6:30, but I'm going to open it up and see if we have any questions. So we've got the question box open. So if there's any questions, please over there, let me know what you think. Let's see. Nope, someone said, what are we learning? Am I missing something? Susan, I'm not sure. I think we're talking about hashtags. Are there any other questions that we can answer? Let me put up here. I got a slide here. It's got my contact information so that you can find me on Facebook or LinkedIn. Marshall Butler on Instagram and Twitter is MetaMarshall. There's my website. Email is really easy. It's marshall@marshallbutler.com. So if you have any questions and want to send them to me directly, you can do that. Susan, what's your email address? I'm going to put that up here so that people, if they have a question,
it's Susan.
Okay.
Susan.R.
I can't find my annotator. Hold on.
Was it on the first slide?
Is it on the first slide?
Was our contact info on there?
No, it's not.
Oh.
So let me see. Let me put it up here. I'm going to put it right here. It's Susan.R.
.COURTER at gmail.com.
So that's Susan's email address. If you have a question for Susan, or we have this. So I got it. Just stick with me for 1 minute. There we go. That's what we need. So this is your public image team. And so if you have any questions or need any help, please reach out to us. Like I said, we're here to help. We're here to help grow our clubs, our districts, our organization, Rotary. And if you have any need or need someone to come speak to your clubs or speak at a conference or an assembly, please reach out to us. I just got a text from David Kramer. I learned a lot. Hashtag thank you. That's awesome. Thank you, David. I appreciate that. And I will be at President-elect training in March in Orlando. I'm actually the district trainer for 6970, but I'm also in charge of the production in the general sessions. And so I'll be the one flashing up the screen, the PowerPoints, and running the audio and displaying all the social media posts that hopefully all of you are going to be using. Please share this information with other club president-elects in your district. Encourage them, in your sessions, in your district breakouts, to use that hashtag 2018 FL Pets. And we definitely want to let the world know what we're doing as Rotarians and what we're doing to make a difference in the world and to be the inspiration. So with that, I'm going to say thank you, Susan, for your assistance tonight. And
proud to be included.
And well, thank you, and thank you to everyone that participated. We look forward to seeing you all in Orlando. So have a good evening.
Bye, guys.